find that everything they've got, you step forwards to my shadow. You are follow in my pattern.
Hello and welcome to the Ladies' Room. I'm Judy McDowell, and today my guests are Geralyne Lewandowski, my wonderful friend who is a graphic designer and great artist, and Elyn Jacobs, who is on the board of directors of the Appleseed Project and the president of Holistic Cancer. Well, you're strategist for Holistic Cancer, or the president of that?
Yeah, I'm president of my company, but I'm a holistic cancer strategist.
Tell me a little about that.
So basically, I work with patients who are either interested in complementary and alternative medicine or methods to go along with their conventional treatment, or people who are not interested in conventional treatment and are looking to heal from their cancer with other means, more holistic means.
So I know in the past, if you wanted to have any kind of alternative medicine, the insurance companies didn't cover it, but the doctors could administer it because it was called alternative medicine.
Right.
So complementary alternative medicine. So that's a group now called CAM.
Yeah, CAM. It's not necessarily a group. It's just a philosophy that you can take things alongside. Most conventional doctors will tell you, absolutely not. You can't take vitamins. You can't take this. You can't take that. But then there's this whole thing involved with integrative medicine, where doctors went back to school to learn what sort of supplements and things you could use along with your therapies. However, there's, maybe 5 of those doctors, or maybe 25 of those.
I was just going to say, how many doctors do that?
Very few.
It's so controlled by the AMA, isn't it?
Yes, it's so controlled. And some of them who say they're integrative, they will still insist that you do the chemo and all of that. They're not willing to just let you do alternatives. So, and they're really not schooled in it. In fact, my first oncologist told me, she said, we don't know anything about vitamin supplements. I can't help you with that.
Isn't
They don't
it
teach us
amazing
that.
you don't get that in medical school? That's
No.
bizarre. That's why they call it practicing medicine, because they're just practicing.
Practicing on me.
We're the guinea pigs.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Geralyne, how did you meet Elyn?
Well, I met actually Elyn through the Appleseed Project, which I came in contact with 21 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I started to research alternative treatments and things like that. And I happened upon the Appleseed Project online, and I sent out an email saying I'd like some information. And lo and behold, Anne Fonfa, who was the founder of Appleseed Project, who unfortunately died earlier this year, actually talked to me on the phone. We had a whole wonderful conversation. She was so inspiring and gave me some resources to follow. And I was just in awe that this person would spend any time with me who didn't even know me, had done nothing. So I looked at, looked at the website a little more, and I said, oh, let me send a donation. So I was just so grateful that, it was just amazing. Somebody doesn't know you and they'll give you their time and, their, energy. So I sent off a little donation, and I actually got a thank you card back from Anne, and I was amazed, because it wasn't really a significant donation by any means. And so that was sort of that. And I ended up going to conventional methods for the cancer treatment, and mindful, it was 20 years ago. So fast forward,
looking great.
Fast forward 2023, I was diagnosed with the cancer recurrence. And this was shocking, because after 20 years of being cancer-free, you really think, you're done. How many years do you have to go till you get your clean slate? I thought my clean slate was years ago. So I was going through my old records, and I came across Anne's thank you card. I had completely forgotten about about the whole conversation or anything because it was 20 years. So I said, well, let me see if they're still around, with COVID.
Oh, interesting, you found them.
Yeah,
again.
with COVID happening, a lot of
Yeah.
companies, 20 years, they weren't around anymore because this was last
Yeah.
year, basically. And sure enough, there she was. The whole thing, was still happening, and it looked even bigger and more expanded than when I first happened on it in 2003. So once again, I send out an email, and I said, I don't know if you remember me, something to,
Yeah.
and I want some information. And sure enough, like within 24 hours, I get a response. It was Ann. She did sort of remember, and we started talking. I was like, this is just amazing.
How old
So,
a person was Ann?
she was in her late 70s,
yeah.
late
Uh-huh.
70s. So that's when I became aware of this conference, which it was actually earlier this year in February at West Palm Beach. It was called, Complementary Alternative Medicine, Many Paths to Wellness. So I was determined to go there and see what's going on because I really didn't like what they were telling me,
Right, at the oncologist.
in my doctors, and I just felt there had to be another way. And one of the things I love, Elyn's quotes is, if you don't know your options, you don't have any. So that struck me.
Right.
So, anyways, I did go earlier this year to West Palm Beach, and the conference was amazing. For a while, I thought, why am I here? Am I crazy? And I ran into Julia Chiappetta, who is now running it.
The president, yeah.
President. And I
Of-
told her
of
about
Annie Appleseed.
Annie Appleseed project, yeah. And I told her how disappointed I was that I didn't actually get to meet Anne after the conversation. I was so looking forward.
Oh, she had already passed
She had
away?
passed away just 2 weeks or so, right
Wow.
in front of right before the conference. So it was, it was devastating for
Yeah,
everybody. And the
that's
whole
sad,
conference
yeah.
was amazing because the way this production, this is like an amazing conference, and there's a lot of work I can tell involved. And I was so disappointed. I was so looking forward to meeting her.
Yeah.
So Julia just sort of asked me a few questions, and then I said, what she said to me was, well, I can tell you one thing you're going to get out of this is you're going to get a lot of hope. And sure enough, I did. So the conference is great. I'm telling you, the food that they serve there, I went with a friend of
You
mine
raved
who's
about the food when you
who's-
got back.
who's like a meat and potatoes person, and you could eat
was
this
all
food every single
vegetarian.
day. It was
Yeah.
all vegetarian.
And delicious.
And beyond delicious, yeah. So that's great. And then going forward, that was in February, I started to do some different alternative
Oriental herbs and
I was
stuff.
taking Chinese herbs,
Yeah.
I still am. And as of September, I had a PET scan, and everything is cleared away right now.
Fantastic.
So I am just over the moon about that, and I just
Mm-hmm.
feel that, I don't know, to put the word out. And,
Yeah, you
know,
wanted to do this show to get the word out.
Yeah, just to let people know.
So, Elyn, how did you meet Ann? And
So at the time, I was newly appointed the executive director of what was called the Emerald Heart Cancer Foundation. They were very small. It was to give grants out to people so they could, to help them afford these alternative therapies that are not covered by insurance.
meanwhile, they're not that expensive compared to.
That's correct.
Right.
And conventional is not cheap either. You get hit with big copays. So, but we were
Yeah.
still making grants to
Conventional medicines are super expensive, and alternative medicine, ozone treatments are $50.
Right.
They can't make any money on it. That's why they don't want to know about it.
Right.
They don't want us to know about it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and they also want to use us as guinea pigs, as you said earlier, because if you survive given their treatments, they can say, well, see,
Yeah.
it's working.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless, that I started this working for Emerald Heart, and then my mentor, Sue Memhard, said, you really should go to this Annie Appleseed conference. You're going to love it, and you're going to meet Anne, you're going to meet all kinds of great people, so get yourself going down there. So I went down there and
Yeah.
open arms and just fell in love with it. That was back
Yeah.
in 2010.
Wow.
And
Oh, you've been going for 13 years, 14
yeah,
years.
for a long
yeah.
time, and met great people. And then last year, when Anne passed away, as you said, Julia had to jump in and a few others and really make this all happen
Mm-hmm.
without Anne. So I just jumped into the fray and said, I'll just do whatever you need me to do, and now I'm actually on
How
the
many
board.
people are on the board of directors?
I forget, I think we're about 7 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry if I have the number wrong, but we just
Mhm.
added, and, but we have ambassadors and we have global partners. It's really expanded, and the goal of this board is to expand it, reach more people. We have doctors coming in from countries all over the world that speak at these conferences. And they are present at the conferences, so that if you want to make an appointment with them or just sit there during lunch or breakfast, and, you can ask all the questions you want.
Wow,
And
that's
so,
great.
and myself as being a coach, there's a few others are there, and we're all willing to talk to anybody, and it's included, we're just there, it's.
Right.
But it's a wonderful atmosphere, and you really get to
is.
know people who have been through it, people who are going through it, want to hear from people who got to the other side, and what did you do? And so there's a lot of camaraderie, and like you said, the food is amazing.
And the people are amazing too. It's like when you meet this many, you don't meet any people that you wouldn't like. It's
Right.
just almost uncanny,
So is it like one of those health food conferences where there's all these booths of people selling vitamins and stuff like that, or is it laid out in a different way?
They do have that off, but that's not a central part
No.
of it. But
Or
you,
seminars?
yeah, so this
Right.
year what they're doing is we'll have the conference halls, but also last year we did what was called roundtables. So
Right.
there was one speaker with 10 people around, and you, on a particular
Really get
topic or
in
whatever,
depth.
in depth. But this year, we're doing a classroom style. So we're gonna break down into small groups, and it's like, if I'm gonna be conducting one of them, that person would stand in the front like a classroom, and then you would speak for a certain amount of minutes, and then take questions from the people in that group. It would be a little bit quieter that way because you won't all be in the same big room.
Right.
So
Oh, I
that's a
see.
small change this year, that we'll be in different rooms.
So you're a holistic cancer strategist
Right.
and you have a consulting company. So-
That's what I do, my consulting
Okay.
company is that.
So at the conference, you're going to be talking about that, and then when you get back home here, do you do Zoom conferences? and-
Yes, so at the conference, I will be talking about alternatives to tamoxifen and natural alternatives to aromatase inhibitors.
Oh, tell us about tubermocin.
Right, tamoxifen is a carcinogenic drug that they push all young women with cancer to block the receptors from estrogen, which they claim is the main driver of your cancer.
Oh, no. Yeah.
However, it is quite a toxic drug, and there are significant side effects. So many
Yeah.
people wish to avoid that, and we can do that easily with natural substances. I don't like to promote that because there's no one thing for another,
Uh-huh.
but there are. for-
Everybody's chemistry is different.
That's right, but for people who absolutely have already chosen not to take a drug, there are things you can do. That's probably the best way to say that, that there are, options. And then as far as aromatase inhibitors, most people, by the time they're in their mid-40s, 50s, they're not making a whole lot of estrogen
Estrogen
anyway.
anyway.
So if doctors want to inhibit them further, that's kind of a scary thought.
And probably inhibits your white corpuscles too.
Yeah, and there goes your eye health and your brain health and your bone health and everything else,
Makes all
because
of that.
we're already, as we get older, as women, we're already declining in estrogen. So if you want to take it all away
And shrinking in height.
and shrinking in height, so that's going to be my topic there.
Shrinking in height?
No, trying to go taller. I hang from
Sit up
bars.
straight, girls.
But that would be my topic. But as a coach at home, I have a coaching business, and I do private consultations via one-on-one in person, or most likely nowadays it's Zoom, because
Sure.
I have
COVID,
it's
started
not-
all that.
yeah, and plus I've always been international, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be
So you were already doing it, it
Yes.
just got bigger.
right, because I talk to people in India and Australia. It gets a little
Wow.
complicated with the time zones, but we work it out. So I've been doing Zoom. Back then we were doing Skype. Now it's Zoom
Yeah,
or in person.
exactly.
But yeah, so
Wow,
and then
very
we just
interesting.
we just kind of come up with a plan for that particular person. Between the two of us, the client and myself, and
So you met Anne at the first conference you went to,
yeah,
and you probably became good friends
we
over the
became good
years.
friends.
I'm sure you miss her.
Yes, quite a
So
bit.
what alternative methods do you find people really enjoy and feel are working for them?
So one of the most important things is the mind. Because cancer it starts in the mind, and most of it is coming from traumas from childhood.
Right.
And
Stress.
unrelenting
Worry.
stress and worry and all of the fear.
Fear.
I can tell you right now that all the chemo, all the tamoxifen, all the surgery, and all the radiation is not going to fix the mind.
It makes you more fearful.
Makes you more fearful.
You're freaked out.
Right. So that's my number one job. Not that I am any kind of psychologist or
Yeah.
I don't do these things, but I can encourage people to do the things that help. The emotion code,
Meditation.
right, meditation, EFT tapping, EMDR, all of the things that we know that can help heal the mind and purge all of these traumas from our minds. And because the subconscious forgives nobody. So everyone
And
says,
the subconscious does not have a sense of humor.
no,
It
it
only
does
knows
not.
what you tell it. And if you're telling it, oh my God, I might die,
Just-
just like, okay, let's get ready to die.
And people used to dutifully die when the doctor would say you've got 3 months to live,
I know.
and they would die after 3 months, or I just need to live as long as my kid gets to cut through college. But instead, you're supposed to say your affirmations, and I think I sent you some.
Yes, yeah.
And it's important to say, why is it so easy for me
Affirmations.
to believe that I'm perfectly healthy?
Yeah.
And you need to believe that you're in a healing phase. You're not
yes.
sick. You don't have
Yes.
cancer. You're healing,
Yes.
and because everybody has cancer. Everybody in the world has cancer cells
We have
every day.
cancers in and out of our body every
Every
day, and our immune system handles it.
Right.
And
So my
Well,
job is to help
people understand
people
that.
to support the immune system
Yeah.
so it can do that job for
Yeah,
them.
and they need to understand that their mind is the boss of their body.
Right.
And you need to tell your body, I'm telling my body now to recalibrate to a younger age because I don't really enjoy being as old. I mean, I'm fine. I have no issue with it. But, if I could skip a day in between, I'm only counting every other day now.
Just count every other birthday. Make it easy.
Well, yeah, that's true. I could do that. I could be like Jack Benny and say I'm 37.
Yeah, my mother was 29 till the day she died. But that's why with the Annie Appleseed, we're calling it the Cancer Wellness Revolution, because we really want people to understand that there is so much you can do, and that you as you say, if you don't know your options, you don't have any. So I want people to know that there are options, and everyone on the board wants people to know that we're here for them. The doctors are there for them, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
And very supportive and loving.
It
I'm
is.
Sure.
Oh,
It
is.
is.
So, Geralyne, you had a great time at it was a beautiful hotel.
Yes.
In
Just
West Palm?
the camaraderie and the people and the food, and just the information was just mind-boggling. And I highly recommend it to anybody who has, any sort of really health issue that they don't feel they're getting, the response they want.
Yeah, and
because
if
it's
they
not
really
all,
wanna
about
learn.
cancer. There's a lot of diseases that can be helped, I
Arthritis.
think.
Almost anything, diabetes, arthritis, almost
Right.
anything can be cured by diet,
Yes.
exercise, and a healthy mindset.
Right.
It's called lifestyle
And the mind is
changes.
not your brain.
Yes.
It's your consciousness.
Yes.
And every single cell in your body is conscious. So you got to be the boss of your cells, for sure.
Absolutely. Your own CEO. We like to say your own CEO of
Yeah. CEO
Yeah,
of
actually,
yourself.
Dean Ornish, who's a medical doctor in San Francisco, there's a book out called Undo It. And he lays out strategies and proof that by changing your diet and changing your lifestyle, you can actually turn genes off. It's called epigenetics. And so even if you do have some of these conditions, they've taken a group of people, which is mind-boggling, and 12 days, if they were on certain medicines for, let's say, pre-diabetes or high blood pressure, they were already improved in 12 days just
Wow.
by doing something. Now, you can
Wow.
imagine if you really worked it. I mean, those were obviously, I'm not saying that you're going to go from, whatever, some sort of major cardiac event in 12 days. No, but if you have a condition, you can improve it. Maybe you go down to half of your medicine or something. I don't know.
Human beings are so plastic, they adapt so quickly that if
Absolutely,
you
they
can just
do.
go 3 days without sugar,
Right.
your body's on to the next thing.
Right.
But if you're giving it sugar every day, it always
Yes.
wants to stay whole.
Yeah.
Human body wants to stay whole, like anything on the planet wants to survive. And there's a joke Oh, it's old, and will I get it together? Do you remember the time that I was in the middle of a joke and couldn't remember how to get to to one part of the joke to the punchline? I knew the punchline, I knew the joke, but didn't know how to get to that one sentence. But it's like the person goes to the doctor and they're sick, and the doctor says, "Well, stick a lemon cookie up your butt every day." Oh, it had a tapeworm. Person had a tapeworm. So every day for a week, sticking a lemon cookie up their butt. Seventh day didn't do it, and the snake came out, and the tapeworm came out and said, "Hey, where's my lemon cookie?" And he grabbed it. But if you're giving your body sugar every day, then you stop. After the third day, the body's like, "All right, well, I guess I'm getting something else now." It gets right over it. 3 days, you can really change yourself.
Yes, and sugar's
in 3
a
days.
big one that people really
Sugar's
need to
poison.
look at. And what's amazing is you have to look at what sugar's in everything, it seems, you know, I mean, you
Oh,
have
it's
to
in
really
everything.
look.
It's in
I mean, it's
everything.
amazing, like a salad dressing, which you don't even think would
Yeah.
have sugar. So,
Even the
you know, in my
low-fat
new
ones, the
lifestyle, I
low-calorie
read all
ones.
the labels, and you go for nothing or very little, like
Yeah.
it'll tell you 1 gram of
And
added
ingredients
sugar,
you
which
can
is-
understand.
Yes.
But the other thing it's hiding in is things like bread. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
2 slices of bread is like 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way the body thinks of it as
Right,
sugar.
yeah.
Well, it's receiving it, the receptors are for sugar, yeah.
But I know with
Yeah.
me, like I'm not one of these cholesterol believers, but mine was very high, and of course my doctors were all really upset. So I said, "Don't worry, I can fix this. I'm not taking your
Yeah.
statin, absolutely not." So in 2 months, I got it down 30%.
Yeah.
Very
And I
good.
said,
Yeah.
just a
Just
couple
diet,
little,
just diet.
and
Right.
a couple of supplements
Yeah.
and maybe a little more vigorous exercise, and
Yes.
Yeah. And like people are like, "Oh, salad, oh." But once if you do 3 days of eating salad, by the
Oh.
4th day, your body's like, "Where's my salad?"
Yeah, I love
It's
it. I
so
eat it
delicious.
every day.
Once you're in it, it's so delicious, and you can put seeds in it and cranberries in it, and it's fantastic food, organic food. So is all organic foods at the conference?
all organic.
Yes. Oh,
And did you
was
girls
amazing.
have time to hang out and swim and do stuff like that?
Yeah, it's all there.
is
You
the
can do
hotel
that.
on a
They offer
beach?
morning yoga and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So when is the conference this year?
End of
For
February,
20
yeah, February,
25?
yeah.
Do we have the slide? Can we put the slide
Oh,
up
we have
for,
slides?
Well, just for the
Excellent.
conference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's see the slides, boys.
Here we go.
All right.
There it is.
February 26th, my daughter's birthday. So if I go, once again, she'll say, "Oh, you're not going to be home for my birthday." March 1st. So it's 5 days, 4 days, 5 days?
Yeah, the first day is usually some breakout rooms with various doctors.
Uh-huh.
And then, which will happen throughout the conference at different times, but then they'll start with the round tables, so to speak,
Uh-huh.
and the speakers. And we're gonna have some really great speakers as usual. One I'm really looking forward to is Dr. Jen Simmons.
Oh,
She speaks like me about the whole estrogen situation and stop fearing estrogen. It's not your enemy, it's your friend. And so really looking forward to seeing her for the first time. And then we'll have Jane McClellan back again, and she's wonderful, and she talks a lot about off-label drugs. Just a remarkable woman, and just a host of others. You know, we have Petra Sovkov, who will be talking about healing with herbs, and just a wonderful, wonderful lineup of professionals.
That sounds
Very
great.
cool. Very cool. So what time do the classes start in the morning?
It
I'm
will
a
vary,
night
I think,
person. I'll
the
probably
first,
show
You'd have
up
to
in
get
my
up early.
pajamas.
yeah, some days are 9, some days are, but on or around 9. Some things will start a little early later on
Uh-huh.
days there'll be speeches. But, you know, some people, you don't have to go to every lecture if you're more, some people
Do
choose
they
to work.
overlap? Are there different things going on at the same time? And
That-
are they staggered so that if you miss one, you can go at another time?
No to the latter, yes to what happens is
You have to
when
pick what you really want to
you
see.
have to pick, because even with the roundtables, you had to choose, but in the rooms, you'll be just on that, so you pick the topic that you wanted, or the person that you want to hear speak, and that will be advertised in advance, so you sort of really should plan your visit to know who you want to listen to the most, and everything is recorded, so if you miss something, you can always
Oh, great.
listen to
You
it
get it
later.
on your phone or
But
whatever.
for the purpose of asking questions, and hearing, then you would want to be with that particular professional.
And if a person really wants to come and they don't have the money, are there scholarships available?
Yes, if you go on the website, there are 50 scholarships typically available, and it tells you how to apply for that, those scholarships, and we're really excited that they're funded and that we have the money to do
And the
that.
scholarships pay for the conference and the hotel, or only the?
It depends, they definitely pay for the conference fees. There are sometimes rooms, people would have to, double up and whatnot, and I'm not
But the
sure.
hotel gives you a group rate and everything.
You have a group rate, which includes a full breakfast, and your lunch is paid for, and your dinners are paid for, at least the lunches while the conference is in session. Dinner is on your own, but there is a welcome night cocktail hors d'oeuvre part,
Yeah.
Do people drink?
well, it could be
Little bit.
mocktails,
Yeah,
but they do drink.
mocktails.
There is a bar.
It's fun.
There, so if.
It's fun and it's educational and you come away feeling super healthy and in control.
That's right.
And that's the important
And the
thing.
hotel has a
Lots of
gym,
hope.
Oh, a gym and a pool and
gym and a
tennis?
pool. No, but gym and
Okay.
pool, and
Doesn't matter.
both are nice, so that when you have a little
And is
extra
it
time.
on a beach?
No, because West Palm isn't so much on the beach.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's
a
right near the
conference.
airport, though.
But
It's
I'm sure
very
it's a beautiful
convenient.
pool.
You
Very
don't need a car,
Yeah.
Free shuttles.
Oh, that's
free
cool.
shuttles to the airport.
Oh, so
It's probably 5
that's
minutes
very
from
cool.
the airport, something like
Yeah.
that. It's
So,
the embassy, I
It's
think.
Embassy Suites, yes.
so it sounds wonderful to me.
It is wonderful, and you're just,
Geralyne, you loved it.
I did. I really
Going again
did.
this year. Maybe I'll
Yes.
make it this year.
Well, we'll
I got
put
lazy
it
last
together.
year.
Yeah.
Well, Elyn Jacobs, thank you for doing all that good work.
thank you
And
for,
Geralyne, thanks for bringing Elyn here. It's a
Well, I think
wonderful
she's great.
thing. We need more of this. We definitely need more of this.
We
Thank you
do.
for joining us.
getting the word out is just so important.
Yeah,
So
everybody.
Thank you for
Oh,
doing
you're
this.
so welcome. Everybody, go on vacation to West Palm and change your life. Live, love, laugh, and be happy. Get healthy. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.